Hello everyone, Bridget Casey with Bridget Casey Designs here today for ScrapbookPal.com. Here's a sneak peek at the 3 projects we're going to create with a couple new products that are in the shop. We are creating today with the Honeybee Stamps Lovely Layers Strawberries Layering Die Set. You can print out a layering guide, and I'm just showing you here how the images kind of layer together. I will be referring to that off screen today. We're also going to be using the Best of Everything stamp set and die set. I love when sentiments have dies. Angled Mosaic 3D embossing folder from Altenew. And Distress Oxide inks in Mustard Seed, Scattered Straw, Candied Apple, Lumberjack Plaid, Shabby Shutters, and Peeled Paint, as well as VersaFine Nocturne Claire ink. And we will throw in a mica mist as a surprise. So I've pulled all the dies that I think go together, and I'm just laying them out to make sure I've pulled the right dies. Now, as I'm moving them over onto my cardstock, I'm using my Spellbinder's magnetic pickup tool to move the dies around easily. Then I will go ahead, I will die cut these out, and I will get them in position. So now we're all set, they're die cut. We're going to start our ink blending with the Scattered Straw and a Picket Fence Life-Changing brush. On the next one, we're going to use Mustard Seed, but it was too bright, so I just dragged the Scattered Straw over the top of it. So I have that Mustard Seed color, but I kind of tone it down a little bit with some more Scattered Straw on top. Here we've just used Shabby Shutters. We're going to use Peeled Paint on the strawberry tops and the little, I want to say vine, I know it's not right, the leaves. It's funny when you look at something and you're like, oh my God, what is that called? And we're using Candied Apple to go over the entirety of the strawberry. And then we're going to come in with the Lumberjack Plaid and just add a little darkness in some areas. And I love the way when this dries that it looks. So here I'm choosing a bunch of sentiments to make our 3 cards. I thought I would let my panels that I just ink blended dry because those are a wetter ink. So I'm laying these out in my mini Misty. I pick them up. I'm brushing off my anti-static powder, and I'm going to go ahead with my Claire Nocturne ink and stamp a few times. I want to make sure I get a beautiful impression before adding some Lawn Fawn clear embossing powder. Once that's on there, I'm going to go ahead and bring out my heat tool. I like to heat set from the back. I feel that I get a nice, beautiful line that way. So I've got that all done. Now we're going to find all the dies that go along with all of the sentiments that I have chosen. And it did take me a hot second on a couple of those. So we got those. I'm going to tape those all down into place with a little extra tape that's just kind of hanging around on my cutting mat. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get those cut out. So a lot of die cutting with today's projects. So make sure to keep those little bits because I did lose my OV for a hot minute. I'm now embossing 3 panels with the Angled Mosaic 3D embossing folder. Now I wanted to add some Pearled Ivory Mica Mist by just splattering it on there onto one of the panels. So I've gone ahead and done that. I've set that aside to dry, and now I can come back and start working on my strawberries, building them and putting them together because they have had time for the ink to dry so that I can glue them together. And here you'll see me using my pickup jewel picker to put some of the pieces together. They're helping me. I also, you'll see, I'm layering the strawberries together flat, but I am adding on the back of the strawberries, I'm adding some foam squares. These are the thin 3D foam squares so that there's just a little bit of height there. I will use regular size foam squares on the sentiments. So these are the thin 3D foam squares in black that I'm using on the strawberries. I will use it on the little flowers that are on the strawberry vine, bush, whatever we're calling that. So I'm just making sure I get that in the right orientation, and then I will correct that one there. Just wiggle it around till it looks like it's correct. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll move the panel down, and I'm picking the sentiment. I want to go with this one. So I've chosen my sentiment and I've put the foam squares on the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and put regular foam squares on the back of the strawberries there. I will glue down the vine and leaves flat. Yeah, I can't think of what that's called. And then my strawberry panel, I did put regular sized foam squares on the back there. So I'm aligning that as best I can. And I went back and forth. I really liked the sentiment over there. So the strawberries looked like they were growing out of it. And then I was like, oh, but it's too left central. I have to put it over on the right. So I put it over on the right, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. I need it on the left. So I did. My card really is left focused, but I like that. I don't hate that. So that was that card. Now here is our panel with the splattered pearl ivory mica mist, which this is one of my must-haves, all faves in my stash. And I'm just putting that one sentiment, and that's my card. You could put some enamel dots on there if that feels too clean and simple for your liking, or some different colored splatter, but for me that works perfectly. So I'm putting all of my foam squares, and these are the regular size foam squares. I've trimmed them down, and then I'm just laying out my words to see where I want to put things. So I've got my hi in place, my you aren't alone, and then I forgot my of, so I had to wiggle it around a little bit, but I get all of those in place, and then we have our 3 cards. Thank you so much. Don't forget to head on over to the ScrapbookPal.com YouTube channel to like and subscribe. You don't want to miss a crafty project.